They then have DeepSeek deployment on this, so running DeepSeek locally, which is really cool. Alrighty, we are back after a whole load of screwing around because my Linux kernel updated to 6.11 and then none of my drivers worked anymore, and I do not have the time to really resolve that. So back to 6.8 and back to Luckfox. You know why? Because we really, really like Luckfox. And here, it's not even that product box, it's, oh, I've already cracked that one. It's this product box, and it is a dense little box containing the Omni3576. So this is a two-parter product that has just come to market, and pretty game-changing, I reckon, especially the fact that it's shipping fully assembled, and you'll see what I mean. I've opened the box and peeked inside, but I have not tried this yet, and people on Reddit have been asking me about it. So let's have a look at what this is all about and why it might be so game-changing. Now, if you've not seen it before, this will be going on the SBC tier list, where we already have the SP32P4 Function EV board, the Luckfox Lyra, and the Waveshare RP2350 Plus. This is going to be how we're going to start comparing these things. Now, what's important here is we do have this board taxonomies. If you've not seen it yet, I'm trying to define, and I welcome any input, how we categorize each of these things, because as we're getting more and more boards and different functionalities, it's getting more and more confusing. So here, we jump down, you can see how I'm starting to define these different things, including an ESBC and an embedded system board, which is then slightly different from a dev board. But getting beyond the point, what we're looking at here is the Omni3576. Yeah, as you can see, I already opened it, and this is a dense little mofo. So, basic box, that's fine. I'd rather cheaper boxes, more affordable products. And we'll get onto the affordability of this. So having a quick look at what this actually has, you know what, I probably even need to open it. So we'll do that in a tick. We can see here, we've got a whole pile, let's get a little bit closer, of IOs exposed, along with a CAN, micro SD, dual antennas. On this side, we've got power, dual Ethernet, 3 different types of USB, some HDMI and some more USB-C. And this is with a good heatsink case, and you see the model here says 08064, which means it's got 8 gig of RAM and 64 gig eMMC. So if we get inside it now, you'll see how this is a two-parter. Alrighty, here we go. After taking out more screws than I needed to, the Omni3576 is essentially the core 3576, which is this absolute weapon with the base. So this core 3576 is sticking to that whole almost kind of SODIMM form factor, and you can see it is very well made, and it's a little bit longer than usual, but it is dense. And then we've got this Omni3576 board. So this is essentially a breakout board for it. You can see it slots in there. We've then got our pins exposed. We've got some header pins there for a fan, which isn't in use. We've got our SD card slot. We've got our Pi 2 header, audio connector, our camera and display connectors, control buttons, UART, RTC, some more power there, PoE connections there, all of our things on the back. Then we have a few little breakouts. So we have our M.2, I'm not sure what that connection is. You see we've got a small Wi-Fi module there and our Wi-Fi antennas. So this is, yeah, pretty dense little board. You can buy the Core 3576 on its own because it will work with other boards. I'm not sure which, but that's the point of it. Or you can buy the Omni 3576, which is the two combined. Now, when you buy this, you're going to get the option of with or without the aluminium case, with 4 or 8 gig of RAM, and with 0, 32, or 64 gig eMMC. So this is the all-in-one, of course. This is the 8 gig of RAM, 64 gig eMMC. The dual LAN means it's got some good router purposes. Wi-Fi adds to that, and stuff's falling off the bottom because I unscrewed too many things. So I'm going to put this back together now, and then we'll have a look at what it can actually do. Oh yeah, and if you don't get this with the aluminium case, definitely get some thermal management for it, active thermal management if you don't have this amount of aluminium, because you can see here there are some thermal pads that's connecting to both the memory and the chip there, and that's a lot of aluminium, so this thing's going to be chucking out some heat. Alrighty, that is put back together now, and might as well put these beefy Wi-Fi antennas on here. And the first thing that we're going to look at that's important for the SBC tier list is the price and availability. So first and foremost, why did I just say that twice? Anyway, so first of all, do I stock it? Well, here you can see I do have it listed for pre-order. I haven't got any in yet, but I'm pretty much waiting to get a bulk amount of orders in, and then I'll place a big order because these are a little bit weightier. They are a little bit more expensive, so it's pretty hard to keep as much stock as I'd like. If you want to pre-order it, shipping, of course, to be confirmed, but as they come in, I'll ship them out. I'm going to guess it's going to be 4 to 8 weeks, but it's probably going to be worth it after you see what this can do. You can, of course, buy it from Luckfox directly. Now, they're going to ship it from China. So for you folks in the US, you're of course going to have some little hurdles there with this new fantastic import restrictions, slowness, tariffs, confusion, everything. Remember, my shop's in Australia, so you don't have to deal with that. Australia shipping to the US doesn't get any tariffs on this stuff, so that's all good. You can buy it from Waveshare as well, which is Luckfox's partner company or sister company, and you can get it from Amazon, but it currently is not available. So if you do want to pre-order, I'll hugely appreciate that. And if you do order it from me, I've also got these rulers. So every Luckfox order gets a Luckfox and Platima ruler thrown in, either black and gold or silver and white. And they're just a handy, like, I throw in rulers with it every order anyway, but these are special Luckfox branded ones, of course, that they sponsored with me. They've just got that little bit of extra bling. I'll throw those in. You don't have to worry about the tariffs, and you can get one of these in your hands. If you change your mind down the track, I'll happily refund you if it takes too long or whatnot. Just let me know. So as far as availability, it can be a little bit hard to get at the moment. I couldn't find it anywhere else online, but it is a brand new product. Price-wise, if we have a look at this, for, where am I going? For the amount of power we've got here, let's say we go 8 gig, 64 gig with the case, 199 bucks Australian, so about 120 bucks US from memory. And you're getting a quad-core A72 with a quad-core A53, 8 gig RAM, 64 gig eMMC, 6 tops NPU, ARM-LEG 52. You've got dual LAN, it does 4K at 60 FPS, M2 connector, gigabit Ethernet, Wi-Fi 6, 4-lane MIPI DSI, 4-lane MIPI CSI, USB 3.2, CAN 2 A and B data communication, onboard microphone, heaps of GPIOs, and it runs Buildroot, Debian/Ubuntu, and Android 14, which they all provide, and runs off a straight 5-volt USB-C connection. So that price is really good if it does what we're hoping it does. I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5, no, a 4 out of 5. Not criticizing it so much for its availability because it is new. Features and specs is next up, and we did look at these a little bit. You can see a few more here. They've split it up into the module itself and then the things that you've got on the Omni breakout board. So look, honestly, if we iterate through this a bit, it's got a good form factor, but a new form factor. This is essentially almost like a DIN mount. It's a industrial form factor SBC. I'm all right with that. It's got a really good CPU, decent RAM options, eMMC options, also still supports SD card, standard GPU, comes with Wi-Fi, dual Ethernet, standard GPIOs. The GPU can do 2D and 3D graphics. It depends on the image, so we'll check that out. M2 slot's really good, RTC battery connector, 6 tops of Edge AI, 4K support. Now, does it do 4K encoding, hardware encoding? 4K at 60 FPS. I've been wanting one of these. That is bloody excellent. MIPI DSI and CSI 4-lane, which means you can do those high FPS or high resolution connectors. So if you've got the global shutter cam, 64 meg cam, that sort of stuff, high DPI displays, it's going to work with this. And it's got the support for the PoE connection that you can probably cram in there somehow as well. So features and specs, goddamn, that's a 5 out of 5. Luckfox, you nailed it on this one. Next up, moving on to documentation. Looking at their doco here, we'll jump over to the I am in the getting started. Oh no, there we go. Getting started. They've got their new layout, and they are improving on this. If we jump over onto image flashing, which unfortunately opens in a new tab each time at the moment. I forget what I was saying because my bank account manager just called me. So, something about the documentation. All right, you can see they've got information here on flashing images. They've got how to flash the eMMC across every OS that you might want. Now, there is going to be, you're going to need Windows to flash the SD card, but you've got the embedded eMMC, so let's stick with that and do it on your preferred platform. For me, of course, that is going to be Linux. They've got very comprehensive SDK. So SDKs on Linux systems, source code Android 14 is not yet released. It's meant for Ubuntu. Now, with some of the other SDKs, there were issues with, yeah, it still requires Python 2. So this means you do need to use Ubuntu 22. If you use Ubuntu 24, you've got a newer version of Python to work. It's Python 3.11 or 3.12, which doesn't work. You need 3.10 or 3.9 for this to work. They got Debian 12 set up here, including using, ooh, look at that. Okay, so we've got the Rockchip RKNN in Debian. Previously, that was only in Buildroot, and they give you an overview of the performance, of how it works, and then documentation, everything that you need to know. They then have DeepSeek deployment on this, so running DeepSeek locally, which is really cool, because there's been all these concerns about DeepSeek harvesting your data, being Chinese, you know, state-controlled, or all these theories and all these different things, even just about the, you know, the general concerns about data security, which are fair. But you can download and run it on this offline, and everyone has said that is how you mitigate any concerns. Even Fireship said run it locally and it works a treat. 6 TOPS isn't huge, but it's going to be enough to run some of their models. So they've got that documentation, which is fantastic. They've got the pinouts and how to use the functionality, which is, of course, exposed with the GPO driver in the kernel. They've got Android, they've got Buildroot, they've got the links to the documentation and all the tools. Of course, it's unfortunately in their Google Drive, which does have issues, but they do have the Android 14 firmware, which is nice and new if you wanted to use that on eMMC or micro SD. And they've got the Linux firmware for Debian 12, which is good enough. At least it's stable. So documentation and support, I'm going to give them, again, 4 out of 5 stars. So they got 4 out of 5 stars for the price and availability, although it is new. 5 out of 5 for the feature and specs, 4 out of 5 for the documentation. And as far as, I'll skip straight to the software section as well. Software and images, I'm going to give them 4 out of 5 as well. They've got what I think was a very new kernel, 6.1 I hope. Doesn't say there. Debian 12 though, so it's going to have a recent kernel. It's a recent version of Debian. It's a recent version of Android. The SDK is available, and there's no third-party images yet, but as they start coming about, they'll generally add them in here. So 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 for the software too. The holdback being that it should be on GitHub instead of in Google Drive, that there should be more variations, and I guess it is too new to show the update frequency, but that's about it really. Oh, and the SDK should use a newer version of Python. That would make a huge difference. So let's plug it in and have a look at what the hell this thing does. What I did actually forget to say earlier is a huge thank you to PCBWay for sponsoring this video. Look, I know you guys have seen this before, you know how it works, but they really, really do support this channel. It makes a huge difference. If you're not into PCBs, you've seen this before, just go check out their module store. They have heaps of cool tools. I've got more in the way, and I'm going to do a showdown between 3 different soldering irons, one of which I got from them. I've ordered this with my latest order, it's on the way. What the hell is that? They've got all these really cool little things for any sort of project you want, whether it is going to be compute related or not. They've got tools, they've got SBCs, they've got cases, they've got modules like amplifier boards, LiPo charging modules, PWM drivers, and this thing, which is a DC UPS for PCBs. Okay, that's cool. So it's using an ultra cap, apparently, not even a super cap. 3.3 or 5 volt output. Doesn't really say, it just says supercap, ultracap based UPS, 17 seconds with a 1 watt load. So yeah, that puts out a bit, and you can add more caps to it. So they've got these cool little things like that that you can just buy and order. It is really cool, but mostly there is a link below. There is a link in every video. Click it and support them because they really support this channel. They do great work. The reason I use them is because they're quality amongst all else. And look, they even sell some Luckfox products now. Look, what goes around comes around. They're good people. They support me. You support me. Let's all work together on this. Click the bloody link. Make a free account. Get $5 off your first purchase, and it's $5 to order a prototype PCB, 10 pieces, so you could just pay shipping on that. But again, thank you PCBWay. Sorry for having this ad read a little late in the video. I know you like it near the front, but you're doing awesome work, and I hope you get some more sign-ups from this. Subscribers, followers. If you're not following this channel, follow this channel, because apparently you do like it. If you want to see more of this sort of stuff, leave a like and a thumbs up. Let me know that you like it. And in case you haven't seen it before either, by the way, there is actually, if it loads, there you go. There's r/SBCs on Reddit, which is all about SBCs. I'm a mod there. My internet here is slow and crap. But there's some really good discussions, and it's really starting to grow. It's growing like 200 or 400 members in the last few weeks. I do put out all my new videos on r/Platima if you want to check that out. I've got the Patreon, and thank you to the patrons that are supporting me now. Really appreciate that you guys are here to support me and make this happen. I have a pile of stuff on GitHub if you want to check it out, and there is SBC tier list along with the board taxonomies. So thank you, PCBWay, but thank you to all of you for watching this. Go click on those links and check it out. Links below if you want to know more. Now we're actually going to finish plugging this in and turning it on, putting it through this little meter and seeing what happens. All right, so what I've got set up now is Omni, HDMI, power in, going through my Finessi FNB58. These guys make some great stuff. I love this tool. I'll put a link below to that if I remember as well. Going to plug in my USB keyboard and mouse into that. Hopefully get a USB port that's not a debug port or something. Grab that. And we're going to switch to HDMI and plug this in right now. Alrighty. Boot splash straight away. It's drawing 2.5 watts. So 1 amp. Oh, it just jumped to 2.3 amps for a split second then. I don't have a setup where you can actually see the meter, so you have to take my word for it. Or I'll do a reboot. I've already got a mouse cursor and it's at the desktop. Wow, and this is snappy. Like, I'm watching this through OBS, so you're going to be seeing the same as me. There is a microsecond lag, but honestly, it's going from this thing up into my computer's 4K capture card, into OBS, out to a display I've got over here, and there's like a split second of lag. So that's pretty bloody good. That did boot very quickly. The time, of course, is a little bit wrong. Let's jump on some Wi-Fi, some Pi-Fi. I think I remember the password. I hate that GNOME bug where that dialog doesn't come to the front. See what speed it connects at with these little antennas built in. It's not telling me the speed it's connected at, but I'm assuming it's going to be pretty good. This is feeling really nice. So let's see what the web browser like. Failed to execute default web browser. Why is that, buddy? What about that link down there? Failed to execute default input output error. All right, we'll get back to that in a tick. Let's launch this console, which is stupid tiny. Can I make that? All right, I can zoom in on the whole thing like that. That'll do for a tick. So let's jump straight into sudo. A little bit of graphical lag there. That's to do with the zoom though. Weird. All right. It does not like that zoom. Wow. 3 minus M. Oh, you know what I can just do? I can just change the resolution. What resolution is this even defaulted to? Probably going to be 4K. No, 1920 by 1080. See if it'll 4K. That's the wrong one. That's the one we want. See if it wants to do that. Whoo! She 4Ks. She 4Ks well. All right, I'm going to restore it because that's just going to be a bit more than I want to deal with. I'm actually going to dump the scale up to 1.5. No, that's the opposite of what I wanted to do. Restore the previous. I want to go the opposite way. So, going to drop it down to 1280 by 720. All right. Going to keep that configuration just so it's a little bit easier for everyone to see what's going on there. 8 gig of RAM, 500 meg used, no swap. Don't even need swap when you got 8 gig of RAM. That's nice. We have a 6.1 kernel. Woohoo! Always happy about that. And that is the wrong command. We have our 64 gig or 52 gig usable there, which is nice. It's only using 3.7 gig. And proc CPU info shows us our cores there. So you can see there is 2 different classes of core. What am I looking for? Yep, DO3, DO8. So we're getting a fair bit of performance. What's going on with our web browser? We've got Chrome, well, don't want to run it as root. Got Chromium here, just libmali hook 1, interesting. If we go back into here, apt search. This isn't the latest image either, by the way. They've probably fixed this already. I'll assume they've fixed this already. If not, they'll fix it after this video because I'll let them know about it. We'll go apt search libmali. Maybe an apt update first might help. Hold please. All right, unfortunately I have had no win here. So we're gonna jump back to Linux. We're gonna flash with this with the latest image and see if it's resolved. Let's go back over to here and actually, what are we going to need? Yeah, we're going to need the software that I've just downloaded. I'm going to need my mouse and keyboard back. So I'll move those and then we'll follow the instructions to flash it. All right, you can see here in the documentation, you don't even have to take it apart to put it in boot mode. ADC 0 and the ground pin. So I've got a normal jumper here that just, I mean, it's not quite the right pitch, but it just fits on there. So that should do the right thing. Here is our host cable. And it says, connect the data cable, open the flashing tool, disconnect power. Those power on, and you'll see the master ROM device. We're on Linux, of course, but all right, there we go. All we had to do was plug in power and the data. So now we've got it there. All right, I've been having a conniption and so many problems because you have to download to get the Linux one, you got to download the SDK, right? Where does it say here? So download and extract the SDK, and then it's got the files in there, and you run the script. However, the issue is if we grab another terminal here and we go back down to the Luckfox Omni, I've extracted the SDK, creates the .repo folder. If we go through and grab the command to actually sync it, which you need to do once you've downloaded and extracted this nearly 6 gig thing, it wants Python, or Python 2 specifically. So if we go here and go Python 3, repo sync -L, it's going to have a whinge about formatter, which doesn't exist in Python 3.9 or 3.10 and up. So that's not possible, but I did see the macOS version here uses upgrade tool, and we've got upgrade tool from the 3576. So I'm just going to try that. We're upgrade tool, UF, Luckfox Omni, and we want that Luckfox. Is that gonna, might just do it. If this works, I'll put a zip file of this upgrade tool just in a GitHub folder, you bastard. Well, I had to download and build and install Python 2 to make this work. So I'm gonna sync this repo, then I'm gonna grab the update tool because I could not get the older version to work, and I'm gonna put this on GitHub and I'll put a link to it below. I'll come back to you when this is done, as we flash this with the latest firmware. Then we'll get back to actually having a look at it, assuming that that issue is fixed because it's a fairly new firmware, and we'll make sure that hopefully they fix these in the factory going forward. But I mean, if I ship any, I might actually flash them first myself as well, make a note about that, because you want a good out-of-the-box experience, and to tout my own shop, that's part of what we offer, or apparently we do now. Hold, please. All right, so we're back with this upgrade tool. So if we go upgrade tool LD, we can see the device there. And what was that command again? UF, update firmware. So we want upgrade sudo /upgrade tool, update firmware, and we want to use that image. There we go. She's flashing the firmware. We're off to the races. I'll let that flash, and then we'll come back shortly. Once that's done, that link will be below to save you the absolute arseache of just going through. And once she's all flashed, we'll pull that jumper off. We'll boot it up so you can see the power consumption, probably a bit more like that. And then we'll jump back in and test it out. We'll benchmark it. We'll look at Chrome. We'll see if the 3D works. And then we'll finish rating this, this awesome little device and get to the end of it. All right, she's done. So now over here, we can pull this little jumper out. Ignore the messages that I'm getting on my phone. Might have to edit that out. What was it about? Oh yeah. I'll definitely edit that message out because you didn't need to read that. I'm gonna pull the power out in case I short some pins. Grab jumper out. And now we'll put this in power so you can watch what's going on. There we go, 1.5 amps at the start, yeah, 1.57. Oh, it's a little bit hard to see. There you go. Probably get another message from the missus in a minute saying, it's past lunchtime, where the hell are you? And I'll be like, well, I'm working. 1.75 amps then. Let's plug this HDMI in. Now, if you're ever playing with these devices and HDMI doesn't work, some of the Rockchip HDMI works better when you plug it in after it's booted, someone before, so always just give that a shot as well. Let's plug this in. That's sitting pretty low, under 1 amp. Jump over and see if we'll, oh, we do. And it's even, what's going on there? Only HDMI, it's Mirror displays, close. What's going on? I'm gonna unplug it, plug it back in. Out. Ah, my keyboard and mouse was on the wrong computer. So I'll unplug that, plug it into USB-C over here, and you can, and I knocked the power and it's rebooting. That's a nice and quick boot. I'll give it credit for that. So this is the slightly newer image. The first thing we want to see is, if I can type, if chromium. Sweet. They have fixed it. Ooh, I can tell you straight away that's 2D accelerated. That is, wow, that is snappy. That is so good. Remind me later. Let's youtube.com/Platima Tinkers. Internet disconnected, I know. All right, I've joined and I've updated the date and time. Now that's loading, that is looking good. Let's grab the Luckfox Lyra video that's did 11 days ago. Everything is still feeling very snappy for me. This feels like an advert. This feels like, you know, something I would use myself as a daily computer. This is what you want. Let's go force this some 1080, full screen it. Yeah, that is just like using my computer at home. That is so snappy and nice. All right, that's working a treat. So look, that did take a little bit of an arse ache. All right, so the image that came with Flash did have a issue of omitting library. And then to flash it with the latest image on Linux, you need to download the whole SDK. I will share the link to just that tool though. So a little bit of pain there. But the 2D and 3D works out of the box. It didn't crash, it booted quickly. Wi-Fi is good. Everything seemed otherwise really good. I'm gonna give them, it's like a 3.5 because if it was easy to flash or it came with a newer firmware that wasn't buggy out the box, it would be a 4. But it is not unfixable, so it's not a 3. I'm going to give them a 3.5 for that. Getting back to the tier list now, if we're going to rank this one, my mouse is plugged into the wrong thing. Plug the mouse back in and go over to the tier list. We've got a few here. This one is probably going to go in the DevBoard category. I think that's the closest we get for this combo package. Now, price and availability, I gave it a 4 out of 5. Features and specs, I gave it a 5 out of 5. Documentation and support, gave it a 4 out of 5. Software and images, I think I gave it a 3 out of 5. Performance and reliability, I am giving it a 3.5 out of 5. Those numbers were close enough. So we've got an average 4 so far. And the last one is accessories and compatibility. So when we were looking at this before, what we noticed is it's got an M2 slot, it's got standard Pi 2 headers, it's got MIPI DSI and CSI connectors. They do require small ribbons, they're not your standard connector, so that you're going to lose a point for that. Doesn't come with the ribbons in the box either, also not good. Supports PoE hat. It does support some displays out of the box. You can buy compatible displays from Waveshare or Luckfox for it. The hats are going to be compatible if it's not in this enclosure, then you want the fan for it. M2 I mentioned, comes with the option of a case, comes with the option of different RAM and eMMC. So the accessories are really good. I will give it a 5 out of 5 for accessories and compatibility. No, I'll give it a 4 out of 5 for accessories and compatibility, just for those MIPI CSI connectors. I think CSI and DSI connectors are fine to have as small, as long as you include a compatibility ribbon or something like that. So, all in all, we have what I'm calling an A tier product here. For what it's intended for, it is A tier. It could easily be an S tier, all right? Luckfox, if you're listening, Engineer29 or whoever it is out there, even Doreen, if you want to make this product an A tier product, there is not much that you have to do. First of all, you want to seed a bit more stock out there. Currently, you can only get it from 2 places. Get some more distributors on board. Start distribution, list your distributors. That will definitely bump you up a little bit there. Features and specs were fantastic. Don't worry about that. Documentation support, you need a little bit more in your documentation. Same as the software and images. You want to get it onto GitHub and you want the tool to be available separate from the SDK, because the SDK is 5.9 gig, and then you also have to have an old version of your OS or Python to sync it. And then lastly, update it before you ship it. You will have an A tier product with those little things, 4 easy things. But users, you can do it all yourself. It is not hard. It just takes a little bit of patience, which is what I don't have, but I did it for you because I love you all, of course. So what do you think of this? What's your thoughts? What would you use it for? It's a dual LAN Octa-Core little plus big, GPO riddled, Wi-Fi enabled, M.2 compatible, embedded evalboard or DevBoard with an industrial form factor. What would you use it for? What do you think of it? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Don't forget to leave a comment to support the algorithm. Check out r/SBC r/SBCs if you want to get more involved with single board computers. r/Platima if you want to see when new things are coming out. Jump on my Patreon if you want to support me doing more of these, or even if you've got money to piss down the drain, give me some of it. I'll make more of this. And lastly, thank you PCBWay. No, second lastly, thank you PCBWay. And lastly, thank all of you for supporting this. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed this awesome product. You can use this as your desktop computer, and it's not even that warm. It is maybe 25 degrees. This is a capable, all-in-one, ready-to-use pretty much out of the box. Besides, even an apt-get update and upgrade would probably fix that issue before, besides one little issue. Well done, Luckfox, for making it. Thank you to everyone involved. I'll see you guys next time.